Good evening, everybody. Let me straight away go to the matter. Among all sessions, this particular session has been given the theme in a very perfect manner. It says, is extracting development affecting Cauvery? If only the position of is to be after development, it would have been a concluding statement. But that it begins with is very clearly indicates that it is a matter for debate. Organizers want to debate whether the extracting processes are affecting. The moment we say debate, we should decide as to what approach we should follow. We have been seeing an approach which is exhibiting lung power, sloganeering, and rallies and so on, which are all emotion driven. But this kind of emotion driven approach will not help achieve our objective of restoring the ecological integrity of Cauvery River system. What we need is something which is powered by our knowledge and scientific data. And many of the claims that we have been making, including sand mining and precipitation and flood and variation in all these things, we have been making empty claims more often than not. Because what we have is this tremendous paucity of data in this field. Unless we have time trace data collected by using internationally accepted methods and methodology, we will not be in a position to take the matter forward. And I will just put some 2 or 3 points for further discussion later on. Number one is, in the present context, to achieve the objective, what we need is preparation of, number one, a state-wise, and number two, interstate compendium on critical parameters that decide the integrity of the ecological integrity of this system. The moment this is ready, the second point is we must sit in a common table and prepare an executable extractive development atlas, which says, which should tell, in fact, in which stretch of Cauvery, what kind of activities and development should take place, and what should be the extraction. And when we talk about this, the other parameter comes in, namely the policy. So unless policy modifications, policy interventions, and policy nudges are given, we won't be able to take the matter forward. So with this atlas and with the compendium, we should prepare using the policy developed by the governance and make the roadmap for extraction. This term extraction, especially with reference to river systems in general, which is applicable to Cauvery as well, is no extraction of water, extraction of sand, and all other resources that river Cauvery gives us. Either it may be drinking water, it may be for industrial development, mining, infrastructure development, hydropower development, or whatever. And according to me, using the river system for all these purposes by extracting the resource is among the legitimate use of the river system. But the problem is, when this extraction touches or goes beyond a threshold, and when it reaches greedy level exploitation instead of extraction, all the problems that are being flagged by different groups of people will come to the fore. And it is at this point that different stakeholders try to approach the problem in different way. And in the last 2 decades, or maybe 2.5 decades, One important agency in our society, which is playing a very proactive role whenever the riverine system's extraction is going beyond the exploitation, is judiciary. Be it courts or the National Green Tribunal, which is perhaps the only kind of court in the whole world where environmental matters are adjudicated. And so in the next part of my message, I would like to say what role judiciary has played in maintaining the integrity of river system in general, and it is applicable to Cauvery as well. One landmark judgment that the tribunal has delivered is with reference to stalling the environmental clearance given to an airport project in Kerala, Aranmula Airport project. Among several other reasons, one major reason why the environmental clearance was set aside was the design of the project envisaged diverting the course of the river. And this diversion would bring about ecological calamities. And in this judgment, after setting aside the clearance, we gave direction to the ministry as to how the environmental impact assessment studies and how policy changes are to be effected in granting environmental clearances where riverine systems are involved. Then we also know the other very famous case in Himachal Pradesh. One family wanted to have a resort there, and that family, in fact, produced one of the union ministers of environment and forest. In that project, again, there was a major, the river was diverted, and court had to intervene and settle the matter right to its original position. And then we have had the other impact of extraction, especially the extraction of water for industries, is enormous industrial pollution or industrial pollutants rather entering the Cauvery system at different places, both in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and of course in some parts in Kerala as well. In fact, people believe that in the entire Erode district and also in Tirupur, Salem, etc., what flows is not Cauvery river, but it is only organic soup. All kinds of pollutants, right? They travel there. And when cases related to this were brought to NGT, a number of judgments have been given to see that the pollution problem because of industrial development in this river basin is addressed properly. Then other extraction is for infrastructure development. In one of the cases involving forest land and non-forest land, one of the judgments of NGT, it very clearly demarcated the role of environmental clearance, role of forest clearance, which should come first, which should come later, what would happen if both of them are taken together, and how activities in forest should be stopped till such time that you get forest clearance, even if you have environmental clearance, and so on. And then there have been cases where tree cutting for highways, tree cutting for railways have been stopped, and government has been asked to respond to this by the tribunal. And all of us know about this Vellore Citizens Forum, Palar River Basin, and how this river basin was affected by tanneries. In fact, this particular case, Vellore Citizens Forum case, led to a new chapter in environmental jurisprudence in India. In fact, in this case, by direction of court, an authority called Loss of Ecology Prevention and Compensation Authority was created. In this case, it is not just the environmental and ecological matters were addressed, but the social parameters were also brought in, and for the first time, compensation was given. And later this was extended to Bhavani and Noyal, which has direct link with the Cauvery river system. So when the threshold limits go up, and when judiciary gets in, and when all the other stakeholders also come on the same table and then draw the roadmap for bringing back Cauvery to her original glory, well, something will happen. And I've been reading in some places that planting N crore trees or Z crore trees would solve all the problems, and then Cauvery will be restored to its original position. I don't know. I don't believe in this, because without any scientific support, without any scientific data, mere plantation on the banks of the river, I mean, we all know that most of the water bodies, the banks of the water bodies are used as wood banks, not river banks or water body banks. But instead of taking this approach of planting crores of trees, we should, if that is true, or if that can work, then all other departments in the government can be conveniently closed and keep planting trees. Everything will be fine. No, I don't believe in this. And according to me, the most important thing that should happen now is coming together of the stakeholders, placing before themselves scientifically analyzed data, and then designing plan driven by knowledge, and then restore river Cauvery to her original glory. And so these are some 4 or 5 points which I thought I would cover in this 10 minutes time that's given to me. Probably we will take specific examples and discuss later on during our discussion session. Thank you very much.